So I'm very sorry that this is in the car, but I had to spend the night unexpectedly at a friend's house because I wasn't going to be able to make it home in time. So I'm driving this morning to get home, and I don't have my laptop or anything. So what I'm going to be talking about is racial reconciliation. Many of you probably have never heard of that before. And basically, what it is the rebuilding of a good relationship between races. And specifically in the US, it's between blacks and whites. There obviously is still a racial divide. There's, in our studies that we have been doing in some of the videos we watch, there is evidence, huge evidence, that there are still major problems with racial inequality. So, my major is HPE, Health and Physical Education. In education, racial reconciliation is huge. As a teacher, we have the opportunity to form relationships with kids. Our schools are the most diverse they've ever been. And we can form relationships with these children. And we can teach them how to interact with each other. And we can influence them in such a way to rebuild this bridge that has been so torn apart for so many years. What sociology has done and helped me in this area is that I have read this article. The article that I read, it was parental involvement in elementary education, and it was whether parental social networks that improved parental involvement in schools, whether it was more powerful in a disadvantaged neighborhood or in an advantaged. The results were that if parental involvement happened and the social networks got parents involved, then in a disadvantaged neighborhood, it had way more influence than in an advantage. And obviously, when you hear disadvantage and advantage, we automatically know what that is. What was mentioned actually in the TED Talk we watched on the racial divide in healthcare. Basically, it's the neighborhood divide. We have a white neighborhood, and we have a black and a Latino neighborhood, basically. And that's that divide. And so this article that I read, it's obvious these parents can make a difference. If you get people involved, these parents that are in these disadvantaged neighborhoods that are investing in their school can get so involved in repairing these relationships. Now, along with that, as a teacher, you interact with these kids. And you can repair these relationships in the same way in investing in your community. The parents, they help a ton and they need to be involved. But also as a teacher, you can do the same. And that's really what I want to do and focus on is there's this huge divide. And kids grow up in the divide. Sociology, also, reading the book. In the book, there are so many examples talking about neighborhoods, certain neighborhoods, bad influences, the divide, like in the healthcare system, but also just with all aspects, the way a child is brought up is so different. And at the same time, we have, this poverty, this economic difference happening. And that plays a large part too. And what this reconciliation is I am, with sociology, with the huge help of sociology, I'm able to look at research and look at a child and understand that this child has so many things pouring into their life that are forming them and how they react and act and interact with other people. And it's forming them into who they are. And I play a part in that as a teacher. Now with health and education, this is the biggest thing. I am influencing them for a lifetime because I am teaching them how to take care of themselves. Now, diversity in a PE classroom is very difficult. In a normal classroom, it's very difficult. In PE, when you are moving and you have kids who are more athletic than others, not just smarter, but you have kids who are extremely good at a sport, then you have kids who are not good at one, but still get involved, and then you have kids who refuse to get involved, even though they may be athletic or not. You have kids who have no desire to move at all. You have kids who move too much. You have all of the spectrums all over the place. And you have kids who may not have tennis shoes. They may not be able to buy a pair. They may not have, gym clothes, good gym clothes. They may be wearing like the same t-shirt every day. And little ways you can repair this social divide is by providing this area and zone and setting an example to these kids that interact with them and make their relationships better. For example, any little thing a kid does well in your class, you throw a ball to them, they catch it. Great job. They do something wrong when they catch it though. Great job, you caught it. Next time do this. Coaching 1-on-1. But with these kids, the way you repair this divide is showing them that you have been, you're able to relate them and you care about them. And some of the things they may be feeling, you have felt before. I have felt before. That is how we repair this. Sociology with the relationships and how people interact and react and communicate, and how a simple communication can somehow dictate whether a person does a certain thing, but yet you don't want to say it has all of that. And the whole ability to understand that everyone has these things forming them, and you are able to be one of those, and you want to do it for the better, and you want to tie everything up and together. And yes, bad things, yep. And some kids may not, you may not be able to, and some kids are so difficult, it's like, how the heck am I gonna deal with this kind of thing? But you have to. And the only way you can as a teacher is by just caring for that child and showing that child you care. The best thing to do to repair this divide is to understand how things work. And by that, I mean studying sociology, studying the sociology of racial differences, of inequality in economics. Study whatever, look at the research articles. I'm going to be looking at more. And the only way to repair this is for me to actually look at the research and understand how this society is working in order to influence it and help. That's the only way I can actually do it, is by understanding it. And the only way I can do that is with sociology. So, basically, in education, sociology, in health and physical education, is extremely important, because the only way, along with racial reconciliation, the only way you can actually improve that relationship and rebuild those bridges is by understanding how the system works, and by being able to step out and see the broader picture using that sociological imagination. That is the only way that these relationships can be repaired.